I had forgotten to mention yesterday that it was the anniversary of my mother's passing. Yep, my mom passed away in August 25th of 2021. I have this like amazing picture of her. She and my dad. That's my mom. We had a super complicated relationship, actually. She was super smart. My mom was really intelligent, very religious. Both of my parents were very Catholic intellectuals. It was so crazy when we were emptying out her house to sell it. Uh, it was so crazy. Like they used to have these bridge parties. So they would have these parties, invite friends over, and they smoked. My dad smoked a pipe and my mom smoked cigarettes, and so they had like all of these ashtrays that I ended up keeping for some reason. I don't really know why. I have a whole lot of my mother's stuff. Um, but we had a really complicated relationship because my mother was super practical and I'm very pie in the sky. I am not a very practical person. I'm not. I'm super not practical, I guess you could say. Um anyway, I had neglected to share with you all. I had put up a couple of videos um, in June. Actually, it was in June because I had a book proposal that was due on the 5th of June, and I did get that book proposal in, and I was very excited, and I had done a video about it, and I felt really good about it. Like, it felt very good about it. I ended up reading parts of it to one of my best friends. I had to, so I wrote a memoir 8 years ago. This one right here, Blonde Hair Girl, Mystical Summer. And it is admittedly not well done. I just have to admit that it was not well done. Part of the point of the memoir was just me getting all of this information down so that I wouldn't forget, because I had these events that happened over that summer, and I wanted to make sure that I chronicled the events so that I wouldn't forget them, because I knew as time went on, I was going to forget them. I was going to forget these events that had taken place. And so I wrote it, and it was not professionally edited, and it was and it needed a lot of work. And so over the years, I've been involved in different writing groups, and different publishers they have their own groups, and I've attended these different like seminars on from publishers and such to really gain information and knowledge on the subject. And over the years, I have been doing this and collecting so that I can, when you write nonfiction, you put in a book proposal. You don't put in a manuscript. And it's not necessarily finished. So they want chapters of your book. So they want you to propose a book. And I'm guessing, and I don't know this verbatim, but I'm guessing that you put the book proposal in, and then they agree to work with you to publish the book. And so I had started working on the book proposal about a year before I actually put the book proposal in. Okay, so I had started working on this book proposal. I mean, I was going every single day to this little pub, little like coffee house in the place that I live in. And I was working on this book proposal. Like, they are intense. I'm just saying, your book proposal ends up being over 50 pages long. And they wanted every chapter to be 5,000 words long. And I am just not like the kind of person that just goes on and on and on and on. But they want, I think they believe, and it's probably true because they know more about book publishing than I do. And so they believe that readers want, they want a substantial book to buy with a lot of material in it. And I think that could be true. Although I have to say, in my case, a lot of times with books, not always, there are some books that I read all the way through, but a lot of times with a lot of the books that I get, I end up reading the first 5 chapters and then I don't finish the book. I get a lot of the meat and potatoes in the first 5 chapters. Like, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I think I read the first, like maybe the first 6 chapters, and I never actually finished that book. Although it was a very good book. I do recommend that book. But anyway, so it was incredibly strange because I work with a coach, which is reminding me that I need to like get an appointment set up with her. I haven't seen her in a while. And I work with a coach, not a writing coach per se. She's just a coach, but not just she has been with me for a few years now. And she really tries to hold me to account. Before we get off the call, she really tries to have me have like, okay, what are you going to do before the next time we meet up? And I appreciate that about her. But anyway, so she had told me, like, in the phone call, you need to like make sure that you have the dates right. And I'm like, oh yeah, I got the dates right. And then damned if I didn't have the dates wrong. And I had to get it in 10 days before I thought it was due. And so I was scrambling. I had a lot going on that week too. I think I was actually, I actually went to a book festival. Oh my God, it was so good. I went to a book festival in Berkeley, California with like one of my absolute best friends. We've gone 2 years in a row, and this year was, in my opinion, better than the year before. And we attended several talks, and I ended up doing a Zin. I made a Zin for that, and I sent it to her so that she would have this remembrance of our time there. But anyway, and I didn't even think about that before I sat down. I'm going to go get it. I'll be right back. Just bear with me a second. Anyway, so I had been at this book festival, and I decided I wanted to make my best friend a Zin, and I ended up using the paper from the event to make the Zin. And I knew I was going to do that before I left, because during the time that I was at the book festival, they had a workshop on making Zins. And so I knew at that I was going to use the newspaper. So I made sure that I had that. This one kind of has our faces kind of cut off the side, but I ended up, and it has all of the workshops that we went to in it while we were in Berkeley. And I absolutely love these because it's really small, and and then it encapsulates everything. But anyway, so we had gone to some talks on like the immigration. We had a civil rights, and she knows these people better than I do. Like, honestly, my friend is a lot more well-read than I am, but she knew this guy named Walter Riley, who is a civil rights activist. He's right here, this guy named Walter Riley, and this is his son Boots. And when my friend saw them, she just really lost it. And he was talking about just his years of activism, and but anyway, and then we had it anyway. So I was at this. So I missed like a few days of writing. So I came back from that, and my book proposal was due. And I had a lot of ideas live in my brain before I actually get them out on paper. This is just kind of the way that I roll. So they live in my brain before I actually get them out on paper. And so I had been thinking about what I wanted to add to my book proposal. And so I was in a mad dash to get these chapters done. And admittedly, they were not all 5,000 words long. I know that some of the chapters were 5,000 words long, but they were not all 5,000 words long. But this is the other thing that I also know, that they had really in these seminars that I have been, or question and answers and everything, I knew that they were either going to jive with the book in probably the first paragraph. Either they were going to jive with the book or they weren't. And I also had to send a video. So I had to send this video of myself. And I have to say that I really felt very good about it. I had done all of my practices regarding this, and I felt so good and so confident, and I wasn't worried about it at all. And so when it came to the day, so finally in early August, they did give the news, and I felt really confidently that I would be notified before the due date if I had won anything, because they have like you win and then like runners up and then like honorable mentions. And I kind of knew that I had not won this thing. And then it was like a question of, do I continue to go down this road? Do I continue to go down this particular road with this particular publisher? And I actually don't know. So afterward, when I was asked to, when I had considered whether I was going to do it or not, I decided that I was just going to give it over to a greater mind, and that I would be led, and just started to really ask for direction. So far, I have the feeling that I'm going to continue on, and that I am going to put in my book proposal again in December. So I've decided, and I don't know how many times I'm going to do this, but I have decided. And I also have decided something else, although somebody in my life does not know I have decided something else, and that is that I'm going to be getting some help. So, somebody in my family actually is a virtual assistant, and I was thinking, okay, what are all the things that I would need a virtual assistant to do? And one of them is acquiring agents, doing that, and also just my social media. I need somebody to that can help. Like, I had been instructed in the past, like, to make one piece of content like 6 minutes long, and then throughout the week, like, chop it up into, like 6 different or 4 different, 5 different pieces, and then every day just publish parts of the whole. And so I'm going to be seeing if this person can help me with that. I think that was also part of the problem, because this particular publisher was pretty vocal about the fact that they wanted you or the writer to have a very large audience. Which, I have all of these different thoughts on this. Like, one of the people that I had listened to his little mini seminar, he had said that you are basically, it never stops, that you aren't the person who is promoting your book. You are always the person who is going to be promoting your book. And admittedly, I am not a very self-promoting type of person. So this is like something that is really challenging for me. But I think that an audience is very, very important to them, as in the publisher. So I'm hoping that in the near future, like, and I do plan to put in my book proposal again in December, but it needs a lot of work. Like, even the book proposal needs a lot of work. Like, I've got to get these chapters that I am trying to publish. I have to add to it, or maybe even add more chapters, I don't know, and make sure that every single chapter is 5,000 words long, even though I feel like that requirement has been a real downer to my creativity. Like, sitting there, like, making sure that, the word counter, that I'm making sure that it is 5,000 words long. How many words do I have? I feel like it was a real, like, it really squelched my creativity. I mean, that is just a fact. But what I really wanted to talk about was more so the process, because I started this channel to begin with talking about the process of creating our lives, because, like, people try to say that we are the creators of our reality. So we create our life, and by our beliefs, by our thoughts, our intentions, our beliefs, and I honestly, there are times where I just sit and I'm just like, is it all just a bunch of crap? Like, sincerely, I'm like, because I'm actually the only one who knows, like, the steps that I've taken, knows the amount of hours that I have spent visualizing and feeling the feelings and having the intentions and doing all the steps over and over and over and over and over again, believing the wish fulfilled and all of that. Um, it's like only God and I know how much I've done that. And so, and I felt really, really confident, but I will tell you that I had put in the book proposal in June, and then in July there was a question and answer, like they have it every month, and I had gone to that, and they were talking about it. And when they were talking about it, I started to really tank. I started, like, my beliefs started, I don't know, there was something about the way they were talking, like they've been chosen, but then like the rest of you, they didn't say that, but it was just kind of like the rest of you lowly people who didn't win, your story too is important and you need to like not give up on it. And I just, there was something in the conversation that just really tanked, and I had to get off because I didn't want to be thrown off my high horse. But I'm still super proud of myself in the sense that first of all, I got the book proposal done, which I had so much time to do it. I have to back up because so I had joined this group in like it would have been June of 2024. And then December of 2024, I had the opportunity to submit my book proposal. Then January of, no, that would have been 2025 actually. And then January of 2026, I had another opportunity to submit, and I didn't. I didn't submit in December, and I didn't submit in January. So I had let 2 different opportunities go. And I couldn't figure out what was going on with me. I couldn't figure out if I just my belief in myself, my belief in my story, I couldn't figure out what was going on with me, that I wasn't getting it done. And I was talking to my coach, and I was talking to her about this very thing. Like, I was like, okay, maybe I'll just give up on all of this. You know, it's like my needs are met. I have a job that I really love. You know, I've got my friends, my family, you know, I mean, it's like, yeah, it's all good. You know, maybe this, whatever this dream that I have is just not meant for me. And you know, and she was just kind of, because she's been with me for a while, and she was like, what? She was like, where is this coming from? What in the world are you talking about? But like, I've really been at this like in a lot of different ways, like in trying to grow my station. Like, I joined Gary V's like Stan Chan, you know, and then they have all of these like, he has all these Gary V challenge Stan challenges, and I was doing all of that, and I was attending those because he had like these coaching sessions like every week for like 8 weeks, and I was like militant. I was just sitting there listening to everything, and that just didn't do anything for me. And like, in fact, I have to, like, I'm not doing that again. It like, and I don't know, you know, it's like, I'm willing to say, you know, maybe I'm just completely boring. Maybe I'm just like a completely boring individual. I mean, you know, maybe I, like, for lack of a better term, I just suck, and I should just forget about all this, like, you know, um, but, so, and then it hasn't even been there. It's been like over the years, I could go on and on and on about all these different opportunities that have come to me that I've gone down that road for a period of time. Some of them I've stayed with it, some of them I haven't. But uh, Abraham Hicks, so one time, like Esther Hicks had said, that God or spirit or source is the best search engine we could ever have. And I really believe that is the case, like that God, source, would put my material in the hands of the right person. But as years go on, I have to say, you start to like wane. But it has kind of gotten to a place in my life where it's just kind of like, it's so weird. It's like it is kind of like I don't really care anymore. It's like whatever happens, like I mean, there is this sense in me that I feel like there is a destiny here. I do. I feel like there is a destiny. But I don't really care. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. And that's just great. Anyway, gonna go in a second, but I wanted to end with this. So I'm I have so many books. Actually, I have so many books that I haven't read. God, I am so bad about that sometimes, where I don't always read the books that I have. But so I was in the local bookstore where I live, and I found this really, really cool support, emotional support animals. This is one of the coolest, like, I guess you could call it, they call it a comic workbook. And I am here to tell you, it is like the cutest thing. I just want to share, like, it has like all these like animals sitting around, like around the table and it's filled with all kinds of, so I'm going to read here. This is part of the reason why I bought it. It said to draw yourself in a conversation with the animal you've chosen of the day. Let them tell you one thing you need to hear. It says you don't have to be human in your drawings. Be whatever feels joyful and correct. And it says if you need more grounding, imagine yourself in a safe place with a giant stuffed creature or a person you miss. Give yourself extra time to draw the experience you need. Even if you spend just 10 minutes on a drawing, it might be the only 10 minutes that day where you feel full body feeling of comfort. I'm just going to show you this like picture of this like and there's something about this that just like, oh my God, I just love it. So there are different chapters. Like this one, there's a chapter on like boundaries. But the one that like really got me, that I liked the absolute most was when you're going to a holiday with your family. Like, I don't know if many of you know about Ram Dass. Dass, is that his name? I think he passed away a few years ago, but he's attributed to saying, although, it's hard to know if like anything that they say is actually true anymore, like who they attribute. But he said, if you think you're enlightened, go home to see your family. And it's so true. Like, so this one is like family visits and holiday support. And I absolutely loved this chapter, and it just kind of, you don't have to talk about anything you don't want to, but like there's actually one part of it that says, you actually don't have to go. Don't, like, here he is. Is he a walrus or a manatee? He could be a manatee. Isn't he sweet? And then he says, one manatee's opinion, don't go home for the holiday. And I absolutely love that. Although, it's hard, like the holidays, like you feel like you feel like you have to, right? You have a case of the have tos or the supposed tos. But anyway, so I've been, this has inspired me with my students. I am a school counselor I've worked in social services for many years. And so I have these students, and this year we're doing a comic. So I was reading through this very carefully, and it had other like authors or other people who make material like this, and I had bought one of them. I had bought one of her or his work. I'm not sure if it's a male or female, and so we're doing these comics, all of my students in my groups, but also alone, and it was so crazy. It's made out of like a composition like notebook that you can buy over at Walmart, Target, or whatever. And I had because I needed like 40. I have over 40 students that I see on a regular basis, and I needed 40 of them. And so I looked on Amazon, and they were quite expensive. And then I had gone to Walmart, and they were pretty much out of them. So I ended up going over to Target, and I got them for like 39 cents a piece. So I ended up like buying 43 of these notebooks for like $15 or something. I felt like that was like really serendipitous. I was like, oh my God, that is so cool that I was able to get these notebooks. Something just told me go over to Target. But anyway, I would love to share that with you all. I don't have it at home right now. It's in my desk at work. But I've already started making my own cover, and I actually haven't necessarily introduced them to my students yet because it just hasn't worked out yet. So anyway, there's the process. I don't know. I guess I believe in these principles as an overall. Like I've got this practice behind me where I have all of these. I even for this book proposal contest, I had the cover of my book. Of course the cover would change, but I had the cover of my book, and then I had pasted on like New York Times best-selling author, and then I had put the particular publisher. I'd put their little logo on there, and so I was looking at it every day. I put it in a spot in my bedroom where I was like looking at it every single day. These are practices that I do, but I guess not yet. And maybe that's not my publisher. It's just so bizarre. I have to say, so what I've started to do recently is to just really broaden my thoughts about it. Like the bigger picture, not the smaller picture, like the bigger picture, just and to believe that it is already done. Like this may not be my publisher, but like the weirdest stuff happens, seemingly out of nowhere. You get like an email, or you get a phone call, or you get like an opportunity comes out of nowhere. Like I just have to share this story about the position that I'm in right now. I had talked to this friend of mine that I've known for decades. I was telling her about isn't it so weird that I I had talked about being a counselor at the local high school like years ago, and I don't know why I didn't try to get my my certification before. But anyway, so I was already working for K-12. I was working online, and that didn't work out very well. Like I didn't have enough students to like actually make it make sense to continue. But I continued with that contract all the way through like 24, 25 school years. So I stayed with K-12, but I had gotten a phone call from the local school district last, I don't know, like not this year, but the year before. And they said, well, we're really sorry, but we can't hire you because we need a social worker, not a counselor. I'm not a social worker, I'm a counselor, my degree. And so, uh, but then like in like November, they call me back. In fact, they called me when I was doing one of my, because that time I was doing these live meditations. So I'm on this live meditation, and I see like I can see the school district like pop up on the screen there, and so that was crazy. Um, and then I called them back. We had an interview, and they hired me like within hours. Partly, I mean, partly because I just had a skill set that they really needed. Like, I was familiar with databases for special education, and I was um, familiar with how that all worked, and the laws and the state of Arizona regarding service minutes and all of that. And so I had a skill set that they really needed, but I got that job, and I was like, and it was so bizarre how it like was sincerely out of nowhere. So like, I mean, here's hoping out of nowhere. Um, I will hear, but I also recognize that I need to keep at it. So my plan is that I'm going to work on my book proposal, and I will put it in December, and and also I need to start growing my platform, and also acquiring other agents and materials, like I had said before in this live. I'm gonna see um, if I can hire somebody in my family as they're a virtual assistant, which I think is really cool. Like, what does that entail? Like, and see if they are able to help me with some of this stuff. But anyway, all right, I'll be back. Love you guys.